Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, known as Salahuddin, rises as a symbol of brilliant courage. In the silence of the night, his mind reflects, how can I find peace when Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque are continually threatened by Crusader invaders? How can I savor delicious meals when chaos still reigns? How can rest find its way in these dark nights? His story echoes through the ages, a narrative of a true Islamic hero, guardian of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, servant of two holy places, Conqueror of Jerusalem, and King Abu Al-Muzaffar Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi. In Baghdad, there lived a renowned carpenter who, in the twilight of his life, dedicated all his efforts to crafting a magnificent pulpit from walnut wood. With great skill, he engraved magical touches on every part of its making, captivating all who beheld it. The pulpit that emerged from his toil soon gained an unparalleled reputation. Every visitor to Baghdad clamored to find the carpenter, pleading, "Sell us this pulpit for our mosque." Yet his answer remained firm. This pulpit was created only for the Al-Aqsa Mosque. During that period, Jerusalem was under the influence of the Crusader conquerors, supported by the religious authority of the Pope and the political power of Europe. The Seljuk Empire, once dominant, had declined, giving rise to various small Islamic states in Anatolia, but internal conflicts plagued them. In Egypt, the resurgence of the Fatimids weakened the overall strength of the Islamic community. Amidst these daunting challenges, Jerusalem seemed like a distant dream. But a determined carpenter built a pulpit with the hope that one day, brave heroes would reclaim Jerusalem and the pulpit would find its true place. The story of this pulpit spread far and wide in various cities, with people captivated by its beauty. A young boy, around 7 or 8 years old, heard the tale. This child was none other than Salahuddin. From that moment on, a strong ambition grew within him to reclaim Jerusalem from the hands of the Christians and restore its rightful place for the pulpit. Born in Tikrit, Iraq, Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi was the son of a Kurdish father and a Turkish mother. His interest in religious education surpassed his interest in military training. He delved into various fields of knowledge, ranging from logic, philosophy, and sociology to law, history, as well as arts and sciences. His education was completed at Haden University in Damascus, where he was revered as an exemplary sultan by the Muslim community, while on the other hand, he was regarded as a true hero in the eyes of the Crusaders. Historians and writers from both the West and the East praised his virtues, depicting him as a righteous, compassionate, cheerful, courageous, and resolute figure. At the age of 26, he began to bear various state responsibilities alongside his uncle, Shirkuh. As he grew older, his destiny to reclaim Jerusalem began to unfold before him. Sultan Zengi of the Zengid dynasty successfully unified all Turkish states under his rule, forming a strong Islamic alliance, and managed to capture various cities from the hands of the Crusaders. Meanwhile, the Fatimid dynasty in Egypt was entangled in crisis due to Crusader attacks aimed at expanding their influence in the Middle East. In 1168, the Crusaders besieged the city of Cairo. Sultan Nur al-Din Zengi, who recognized the strategic importance of Egypt, realized that controlling Egypt would give him an advantage in seeking assistance from his side. Therefore, Sultan Zengi sent his commanders, Shirkuh and Salahuddin, to cleanse Egypt from the Crusader forces. Shirkuh's success led him to the position of Prime Minister of Egypt, although his tenure was short-lived as he passed away shortly thereafter. Salahuddin, his nephew, then took over as prime minister and became the Sultan's military commander in Egypt at the age of 31. He held the titles of Malik and prime minister. Under Salahuddin's leadership, Egypt faced resistance from the Fatimid Turks, Crusader forces, and their allies from Byzantium. With absolute power over Egypt, Salahuddin reorganized his army, supported Sunni Muslims, and established Sunni educational institutions. He gradually eliminated Fatimid influence from within the bureaucracy. In 1171, upon the orders of Nur al-Din Zengi, Salahuddin ended Fatimid rule. However, amidst these developments, Salahuddin received news of the death of Sultan Nur al-Din Zengi, which added to the challenges he faced. While striving to maintain unity within Islam and protect the territories established by Sultan Zengi, Salahuddin also faced Crusader forces. His three aspirations were to unite the Muslim community, liberate Jerusalem, and conquer Constantinople. Through resistance and victories against the Crusader forces, the unity of Islamic states was strengthened. Salahuddin's profound longing for Jerusalem was reflected in his spirited call for jihad to liberate the city. With deep sorrow, he likened his feelings to a mother mourning the loss of her beloved child. As long as Jerusalem remained under Crusader control, he wondered how there could be room for smiles or even peaceful rest. However, Salahuddin's steadfast determination and wise leadership provided strength to his diverse army, with a primary focus on resisting the Latin Crusader states. During this period, Salahuddin successfully captured strategic cities leading to Jerusalem, such as Tiberias, with the aim of luring the king of Jerusalem and his army into the Battle of Haden. The plan to change the dynamics of the war centered around the closing of the famous wells in Tiberias. Sultan Salahuddin took preventive action by controlling the wells leading to Haden, filling them with sand and stones to render the water unusable. When the king and his troops reached Haden, they were surprised to find dry wells, no water. The entire army was forced to engage in battle in conditions of dehydration and exhaustion under the merciless desert sun. The Battle of Haden took place on July 4th, 1187. In this battle, Salahuddin emerged as the victor against the Crusader forces led by King Guy of Jerusalem. Following this victory, Salahuddin immediately began a conquest campaign. The significant defeat suffered by the Crusader forces nearly allowed the Muslims to annex the entire Kingdom of Jerusalem. They captured various fortresses, including Tiberias, Ascalon, Nablus, Ramla, and Gaza, within a few weeks. 52 major and minor cities were conquered, culminating in the long-awaited siege of Jerusalem on September 20th, 1187. Sultan Salahuddin besieged Jerusalem, employing siege engines to assault the city walls. Shortly thereafter, the northern wall collapsed, and the siege engines were moved there. Despite the Crusaders' attempts at a counterattack, their efforts failed. It became clear that they could no longer maintain control over the city. They sought a peaceful resolution by offering ransom for their lives, the preservation of their belongings, and the release of Muslim captives. Sultan Salahuddin accepted these terms, desiring the safety of the Muslim captives and aiming to prevent further loss of life. On Friday, October 2nd, 1187, a glorious milestone occurred with the Conquest of Jerusalem, coinciding unexpectedly with the moment of Isra and Miraj on the 27th of Rajab, 832. This splendid victory, achieved by Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, not only reflected excellence in military aspects, but also marked the birth of a structured and progressive state entity under his leadership. This era was characterized by the establishment of various educational institutions, hospitals, and mosques that served as hubs of scientific advancement in the Islamic tradition. Scholars and students flourished under his leadership, producing remarkable intellectual works. His excellent governance became a guiding light for many leaders who emerged in the future. However, on March 4th, 1193, this extraordinary life journey peacefully ended in Damascus in accordance with his recorded wishes. Upon his return, his body, shrouded in a burial shroud, was paraded before the public, while his wise words echoed through the alleys of Damascus. "O Muslims, O conquerors of Egypt, Yemen, and honored Jerusalem." Sultan Salahuddin did not bring any worldly possessions except this burial shroud. Let it be a reminder for us not to be deluded by the glimmer of the world. He lived with a steadfast purpose, faithfully carrying out a sacred mission. Sultan Salahuddin provided a splendid example of how a Muslim should establish their life's goals, with unwavering loyalty to Allah, striving for justice in the world, and illuminating the beauty of Islam to those who are yet to know it. The success of recapturing Jerusalem is tangible evidence of a strong vision and determination. This should also serve as motivation for us. However, we must first correct ourselves. Too often, our lives are ensnared in the pleasures of the world, our dreams fixated on material possessions, and our goals merely seeking bodily satisfaction. Therefore, now is the time for us to reflect and dedicate ourselves entirely to the path shown by Allah. We need to set noble goals for the advancement of Islam. Remember, like the great Sultan Salahuddin, one day our bodies will also be wrapped in burial shrouds, and with that shroud, we will take nothing. If you desire similar content, feel free to subscribe. If there are any shortcomings in conveying this story, allow me to apologize, and until the next video, goodbye.